What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. For all those who were hopeful that this weekend would mark the end of a very dark era and possibly even darker one, with Mark Carney coming in to essentially be Canada's first unelected prime minister, with no mandate, I might add, Justin Trudeau puts a stop to that. Essentially, he's saying, while we all knew what was coming, while we all knew what was happening, again, by his speech that he made back in the new year saying, I intend to resign as prime minister. Well, now it's come full circle. Justin Trudeau isn't going anywhere anytime soon. This was all just to buy time. This was all just to get people off their backs. Again, you've seen what it's done to their polls as Mark Carney has been installed to be the next leader of the Liberals. Essentially, all Trudeau has done at this point is, in layman's terms, said, I'm not seeking re-election. That's it. Basically, the way this is going to go down, if we ever see another election in Canada, is that Justin Trudeau will remain on as prime minister and Mark Carney will just be the placeholder for the next federal election. At least that's my guess by what we're seeing. Let me see what you guys think. This article breaking out from Rebel News. Trudeau to remain prime minister indefinitely to facilitate transition. With only days remaining in Justin Trudeau's tenure as prime minister, he clarified his last day in office remains unknown. As we know, the Liberal Party is going to be picking a new leader over the weekend, but when is it going to be your last day in office as prime minister, a reporter asked on Tuesday. That will be up to a conversation between the new leader and myself to figure out how long a transition is needed, Trudeau replied. Keep that in mind as it finishes his statement here. The Prime Minister prolonged Parliament on January 6th, announcing his intention to resign following a failed last-ditch effort to secure a minority government. Responding to the question about U.S. tariffs, Trudeau acknowledged that a conversation on his exit needs to take place with his successor. Now, he mentions in that speech that while these things are going on, it's just not clear when it comes to the emergency that's going on between Canada and the United States, that now's the right time for me to step away. Voting is underway in the Liberal Party leadership race, and registered Liberals have until March 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern to cast their votes. The Liberal Party of Canada will announce its new leader in Ottawa that day. In the race are former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney, former Finance Minister Crystia Freeland, former Government House Leader Karina Gould, and former Liberal MP in Quebec businessman Frank Baylis. Gould earlier said the U.S. trade war could delay the federal election. We've been talking about this for multiple videos now, and people say, stop fear-mongering, stop talking about what hasn't come yet or what's not going to come. We're going to see an election. I got sour news for you. No, we're not. Even this article cites that we're going to see an election. I'm going to show you why later in this video. Gould earlier said the U.S. trade war could delay the federal election. U.S. President Donald Trump implemented 25% tariffs Tuesday following delays in as many months. Trudeau says he expects a quick transition. It should happen reasonably quickly. Give us a day then. But there's a lot of things to do, he said, referring to the U.S. trade war. Section 4 of the Charter stipulates the Parliament may be extended beyond the 5-year maximum in the event of a war, invasion, or insurrection. This right here is why Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are pushing for this trade war. They want this. I'm going to show more proof of that later in the video. I think we need to see where we are on March 9th, said Gould. Oh, there's a nice little pop-up telling me to sign in. Under the Canada Election Act, the next scheduled election is slated for October of this year. Both Gould and Carney discussed the possibility of a spring snap election, but made no promises. Of course, they're not. They're just dangling the carrot on the stick that, hey, we'll go to the polls soon, guys. There would have to be an agreement of the opposition parties if that were to do that, said Gould. But I think whatever decision we take has to be one that is responsible for Canadians. Call an election. That's responsible. Everything else is this mess that we continue to see. If Parliament needs to be recalled for certain reasons, it will be, confirmed Mark Carney. Prorogation ends on March 24th, followed by a likely confidence vote 2 days later, it says. I can tell you why that's not going to happen. We've already had Jagmeet Singh. You can see him scrambling here. Jagmeet Singh had said back in December via a full pressed letter from his office that he would vote non-confidence as soon as Parliament went back in, that he was no longer going to support the Liberal government. Look at his hands as he scurries around here. His time's up. He knows it. This Marxist is cooked. Watch his hands as he's answering questions. Nervous as hell.
You want to vote down the government at your earliest opportunity. Do you still stand by that statement, and do you think now is the time for an election?
Now is the time to put workers first. We're literally in a trade war. And I can't imagine any opposition leader that wouldn't want to support a package to help workers impacted by this. We did that during the pandemic. We came together. We need to have that same approach now. So my answer to that is we need support for workers first, put in place working, an election afterwards.
And what's the plan for, I mean, how long would you see something like that? This tariff war.
Am I the only one who's fed up with this? Am I the only one who's just done at this point? Like, this guy, this clown comes in. Yeah, I'm going to call an election. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I will. No, I won't. What are we doing? This has been the plan all along. Let's go back to this tweet here. What he's talking about, what this Maserati Marxist is talking about, as he nervously strokes his fingers because he knows he's in deep. As the Brits say, he's in Barney. This guy has the gall to talk about UBI. That's essentially what he wants. He wants, well, an opposition government should want to come back and work with us. We all came together during the pandemic. You'll notice he cites the pandemic. That he cites that we all got to be in this together, guys. Team Canada, right? They're talking about printing billions of dollars to give people to sit on their asses to tank our economy. There's an easier solution to this. Let Canadians have a say. Let them call an election. You're going to notice here, friend of the channel, dear friend of mine, Andy Lee, posting this tweet out from Donald Trump. This is how we know an election isn't coming. This is part of their plan. This is what they want. Justin Trudeau of Canada called me to ask what could be done about tariffs. This was yesterday at the time of filming this video. I told him that many people have died from illegal substances that came through the borders of Canada and Mexico, and nothing has convinced me that it has stopped. He said it's gotten better, but I said that's not good enough. The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner. He was unable to tell me when the Canadian election is taking place, which made me curious, like what's going on here? I then realized he's trying to use this issue to stay in power. Good luck, Justin. The writing is on the wall. This is why Team Canada, this is why Doug Ford, this is why put Canadian stickers in the stores again. Does the rhetoric not match up with that of the pandemic? That we're just using the current situation to pull the wool over your eyes to get you all behind us so that we can continue printing and spending money. That's all this is. The whole thing. And everybody, all these sheep that boo hockey games, that jump on board and say, to hell with Donald Trump and America and everything. You're not realizing who the real enemy is. Is it good that Donald Trump's pushing tariffs on Canada? Absolutely not. Should we be pushing back at some point? To an extent, yes. You don't want to bend over and look weak, but at some point in time, we need a democratic solution. We need democracy. We need somebody to come in and put an end to this. Find a resolution. Nobody wants to talk about that. Why? Because it's all part of their plan. If you don't believe me, let's take a look here. This tweet showing Justin Trudeau during a press conference. Justin Trudeau encourages Canadians to boo the American national anthem now. What are your thoughts on that? Let's take a listen.
We're going to choose to not go on vacation in Florida or Old Orchard Beach or wherever. We're going to choose to try to buy Canadian products and forego bourbon and other classic American products. And yeah, we're probably going to keep booing the American anthem.
Yeah, we're probably going to keep booing the American anthem. This is the leader of a free country. Well, a labeled free country. Let's face it, we haven't been free in a long time. Saying, yeah, we're going to keep booing you guys. We're going to keep it up because it's stoking the fire of division. This guy is the king of it. Think back to the pandemic. You don't want to get on a plane or a train and sit next to those people. That's the speech he just delivered here by saying, yeah, we're going to give up certain things. We're going to, go without for a little while, but we're all in it together, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to keep booing that national anthem because Canada first, right? This guy is turning your country into a weapon. And there are so many seal clappers and sheep amongst this group cheering this on without realizing what the hell is going on here, what is actually going on, this bait and switch that this clown is pulling. And everybody's buying it. Everybody whose votes matter in this next federal election is buying it. If we ever see a federal election, I feel like it's going to be a little bit harder for Pierre to get in than we once thought it was going to be. I also think we may not see that federal election. I think that the more Donald Trump pushes, the harder this is going to get, the worse off it's going to get. And what does this mean for Canadians outside of Ontario? Canadians on the western side that are fed up, that feel attacked, that feel like they can't do anything. What happens to people on the East Coast who can't afford to live, who are fed up, who want away from this government, people who just want an election? If these leaders are so convinced that they know what's best for Canadians, let us decide. Otherwise, you're a dictator. People can say whatever they want about what's going on right now over the world, saying, well, look at Ukraine, they don't allow elections. Look at Canada, they're not allowing elections. Look at Vladimir Putin and everything he's doing. That's a dictatorship as well. Yeah, but they still have elections. I mean, they're a step ahead. And that doesn't mean I'm vouching. It's saying that you can't compare the two anymore. You can't say that we're beyond a dictatorship. We are not free. We don't have the right to choose. We don't have any choice but to do as these corrupt individuals say moving forward. I don't know what this is going to do to our country. I think the best thing that could happen, in my own personal opinion at this point, is for Donald to back off and just maybe encourage an election in Canada, do what he has to pull the strings for that, rather than pushing the tariffs. We all know about the Trump effect. Maybe find a new angle. At least Trump is realizing at this point that everything he's doing is helping the liberals. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine as what this is going to mean. But the bad news is it doesn't look like Trudeau's going anywhere anytime soon, by his own words. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Where do you think we're going to be? Where do you think this is going to put us? If it's for your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and a comment down below, folks. It helps us in the algorithm. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on your bell for notifications. Join me live here on the channel this Friday and every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central for Friday Night Fringe, our live streaming show, where I sit down with my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, as we go over everything that's happened this week in politics, everything coming up in the week ahead that we're aware of, and some back and forth within the greatest YouTube community on the platform. We look forward to hearing what you have to say outside of making these videos. And again, I look forward to seeing you this Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, again, 8 p.m. Central. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.